Hello, my name is Calvert Mata, and I'll be reviewing JSON parse and JSON stringify. I'm gonna make this very simple because I don't know much more than that. I was actually reviewing and learning a little bit. I think I used it once when I had to call an API. I had to call a JSON into my HTML, so for my web page. Maybe like a couple semesters ago. So I didn't actually learn this, but it's not complicated. It's very simple actually, and it's used specifically and mostly for um, calling the um, well, you're gonna learn about this. We're calling your JSON from a server. So it's a data exchange in between both of them. So we're gonna do here, and JSON parse takes a JSON string and transforms it into a JavaScript object. So what does this mean? So it's like a string that it was a JSON before, most likely, is taken, and you use this here, JSON parse, and brings it back to be a JavaScript object. So here, there's JSON stringify. It's kind of confusing sometimes. Kind of like, what are we doing? It's very simple though. It took me a little bit to keep the ball rolling with this, but it's a simple thing. And then JSON stringify takes a JavaScript object and transforms it into a JSON string. So if you have an object on an array, it takes it into a JavaScript object. It puts this in the string. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna see a little bit more of this right here. I'll explain it here. So here in like we pretty much all go here to W schools and see a couple examples here. I went here and it's pretty much what we're talking. So it's like a JSON's exchange of data. And so if we see an example here from JSON parse, let me move this page here a little bit more so it fits in here. So here we have a little option from JSON parse. So this is a string, this is a text. It's a string, text, a string. So we're gonna create an object from a JSON string. So they're giving us a string here. We're taking the string and then we're gonna parse it and bring it as an object. So, and the good thing about this is you can call each different one or all of it. So let me see here, example. So we do object name, and then we run it and run John, this name here. So if we're gonna add more into this, we can do object age and run it, and this is the age. But this is the simple way, But what it's actually doing is actually taking the string and bringing it back to, pretty much bringing it back to life. That's the way I see it. So he brings the string into an object, into a usable object or function in JavaScript. So now we're gonna see here a string. So this is the different way. This is all the way around it. So we have the name here. We have this object name variable, and this we have this other name. This is a string, and this is a number. So we have these two different in an object. And then what it's doing here, we're gonna store it in the console. We're gonna put it somewhere. Okay. So we use this object with JSON stringify, and we get our object, and then we print it. And what it prints a string, which this string is going to be used later on for somebody else in a project, and it's gonna need it. Oh, I need this, and we take it. But to be able to use it as a JavaScript object, you had to parse it like we did before. Another one that I wanted to show you here was this blog. It talks a bit about both of them. So how they work. So it says here the JSON is a JavaScript, So we're gonna come here. Let me show you. I was gonna show you this one. I did some of these in a code here in my Visual Studio, and I want to show you how to see it in a console too. But it's simple here. We have this object. We have an ID and a name, an icon, and we have this object. And then we're gonna say, oh, I don't need to use this anymore, but I want to store it somewhere. Okay, so I'm gonna create this JSON string and this variable here. I want to store it, and then I'm gonna use this JSON stringify this JSON object. I'm gonna convert it as a string here. So this is gonna be connected here. So we're gonna go in the console. So JSON string. So this information now is back into a string, and this is what is showing in the console. So if we want to call it back, as of we're gonna say, oh, I need it now. Okay, I want to need it in my JavaScript. So I want to call it back. So we gotta call the console JSON parse, JSON string, and then now I get my ID, my hammer, my icon, my foot. So there are methods to not just limit JSON objects. You can also transform JSON arrays to string and vice versa. So it's the same thing here. We have an array, we have the brackets here. So we got these icons and an array. So what we're gonna do, these icons, I want to make them, I want to store them away, I'm gonna put them away. So I'm gonna make a string. So we're gonna make this variable here because we want to save in this variable as a string. So and then what prints the console? Console prints, quote, and we see the string. So we're gonna call them back, and we do the same thing vice versa. So this is the way I learned it, kind of like reviewing it. It's a pretty simple thing. I'm gonna show you here to finish because what I did here. So what I did here was I created a JavaScript and this HTML to call the JavaScript. And then what I did is I have my object here, and this object I'm gonna transform it into a string. So take it, move it into a string, and then I'm gonna make it to a string here, and then I'm gonna call it back as an object. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this array. So I'm gonna show you here what's going on. So we're gonna open this browser. Hello here. So in this browser, we're gonna open Developer Tools. So in Developer Tools, we're gonna inspect the console. So we got sources here. Where are the sources? Okay, we're gonna do here in the console. We'll see This is a little message I posted in here. We'll see that in the code in JSON 11, line 11, is telling me this is Ben created. We created a string here. So if we go back here, look at my code. This used to be an object. What we did is like we called the object and we made it a string. Okay, we made it a string here, console. It's now a string. So JSON stringify student, and then we store it here, and then calls, and we will call in the console here. So what about if we're gonna turn into object to print the console? So we're gonna turn this line that we see here. We're gonna turn this line, and we're gonna make it an object. It's already happened here. So in line 14, here we see line 14. We go back here. Oh, goodness. Okay, so click the wrong one. Okay, so in line 14 right here, we're calling that string and making it an object. We can also do this as an array. So an array, same thing. We got this array with a bracket, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes. And then we do the array. We're gonna store these here, and we're gonna call into the console this array, and it's gonna give me a string. Let's see if that's true. So on line 21, we'll go back here, line 21. Yes, we have a string. So, we're gonna call it back to an array. So we're gonna do that. We go back here, type this. So if you're gonna come back, well, we go console log JSON parse. Well, we're gonna transform that. We have to choose that specifically. Those two are only used on JSON, the parse and the stringify. So we use that parse the array, and then what happens? It gives me the array right here. Well, this is the way I kind of reviewed it, kind of like got back into I watched other videos, and I saw the most that we're gonna be using this is gonna be when we have to call the string, and we're gonna be using this a lot to call the the JSONs and putting it back into JavaScript, calling from an AJAX also. So we'll maybe talk about this but on our meeting on Wednesday, but this is what I kind of got from it. Thank you. Bye.